Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mindful Knitter podcast. My name is Claire, and I am so happy to have you hang out with me for a while on my channel today. If you are new, welcome. This is a channel primarily about knitting, as you could probably tell by the title. We do talk about some other fiber-related things here and there, like crochet, weaving, spinning, all sorts of fiber-related stuff, but it is mostly knitting. The vast majority of it is knitting. But if you are new, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here with me today. Hopefully you will hang around for a bit and enjoy yourself. And if you are coming back, welcome back. I really do appreciate you guys so much. This has been a really awesome experience for me so far, having this channel for the last several months. And I'm just really grateful to all of you who come back and continue to want to hang out with me while I rant about yarn. And particularly everybody who messages me. I feel like I'm starting to make yarn friends, which was a big part of me wanting to do this podcast, because I don't really have many friends where I live actually at all. But I definitely don't have like a yarn community. So I'm really enjoying getting to chat with some of you guys. There are a couple people I've been chatting with quite a bit, and I am really liking that a lot. So thank you guys for coming back to hang out. So if you're new and you don't know how to get in contact with me, but you would like to, you can find me on Instagram as the.mindfulknitter, and we also are on Ravelry. I'm on Ravelry, and then the podcast also has a Ravelry group. So come hang out with us. We've got a make along going on right now. People are posting stuff in the thread for that. It's a lot of fun. So I think that's it for the introduction stuff. I'm a little rusty because it's been 3 weeks since the last time I podcasted. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's a really long time. So I might be rusty. And then also, I have so much stuff to share with you guys today. So much stuff. 3 weeks is a really long time. Yeah, and I'll get into a little bit later as to why it's been 3 weeks since I podcast, because I try to podcast every week. It was a long time. So we should probably get into it, because I'm actually going hiking after this, and I need to go get ready to do that when I'm done, because I'm going with my friend. I also feel like I'm very like allergy-y today, so please pardon that. I actually ran out of my allergy meds like 2 days ago. Yeah, that was probably unwise of me. I should go get a refill. Because I feel I can like hear my voice differently, and I feel like I'm constantly having to like clear my throat. Anyway, I hope that's not distracting or gross. We're gonna get into this. So structure for today, I don't think we're gonna have much of a mindfulness segment, just because there's so much knitting material for today, which will probably be exciting for a lot of you. I don't actually know how many people watch the mindfulness portion. I know there are people who do, so it's not like I'm gonna stop doing that. But I think most people are here for the yarn. So finished objects, works in progress. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Hygge make along that's going on. Yes, acquisitions. It's pretty much it, I think, for today. There might be a little bit here and there. Oh, and I have a couple needle adjacent projects that I'm about to cast on in the next day or two. So I'll share those too. Alrighty, so finished objects. There are a few of them because it's been 3 weeks. It's so long. Okay. Although I don't have, well, no, I say I don't have tons of finished objects, but I have plenty of finished objects. Especially considering my new hobby. We will get into that in just a moment. So first finished objects. I'm going to try to do these in the order of when I finished them. So I showed these to you guys last week, or 3 weeks ago. These are the socks that I knit for my dad. So these are the Patons Kroy socks that I was knitting for my dad. This is the Midnight Colors colorway, and the sock blocker is too small. It ends like there. This is the Midnight Colors colorway because he said that he wanted dark socks. So I figured Midnight Colors sounds dark. We'll do that. So yeah, it's this lovely like green, blue, purple, black sort of ombre self-striping. Yeah, and it looks nice, I think. So these turned out very well. This was not my favorite. I've said this before, I'll probably say it again. I have, every time I knit with Patons Kroy sock, I don't love it. But I like the finished product. So I was struggling with these. I actually went into such a dark place at one point, and I was like, do I hate sock knitting? Am I never gonna sock knit again? I have so much sock yarn. Do I hate sock knitting? Because I was just slogging through them. But I came up with a solution. I was like, well, these were like the only thing that I was working on at that point. So I was thinking, maybe I just need to cast on another pair of socks. If you've been around for a while, you know I'm a fairly monogamous knitter-ish. I'm like, I don't know, like a mildly poly knitter. I have like 3 projects going on at any given point in time. I might have 1 or 2 like long-term projects in addition to the 3 that I'm like actively working on, but I can't usually do more than 3 because I get kind of stressed out if I cast on too many. So I cast on a second pair of socks, and it fixed the problem because I could go back and forth, and I think I was getting like basically palette fatigue because it's the same dark colors over and over again, and I'm not really super into dark colors just in general in life. So I think that was getting to me. And then I'm so into texture, and particularly really soft texture. And Patons Kroy sock, if you've knit with it, you know it's just not soft yarn. It's not rough. It's not like I'm going out and like, I don't know why my like first thought was like rubbing my hands on the pavement. I don't know why that's where my brain went immediately. It's not super rough yarn, but it's not soft yarn. So that really detracts from the joy for me. But I really like the finished product, and I like the kind of quick nature of Patons Kroy sock. It's very satisfying. So it's not as if I don't enjoy it. It's just, I think that is my solution, is I think I just get palette fatigue from it because I'm not getting lots of enjoyment from the texture, and then the color a lot of the time is not super fun for me because I also really like more hand painted kind of yarns. I like every row to be a surprise, and for something like this, after I get to like here, there are no more surprises because it's a repeating pattern. I know exactly what's going to happen next. So yeah, that's my solution, I think, from now on, at least going forward. We'll see if it works. It worked this time though. If I'm starting to get some, I'm calling it palette fatigue from my sock knitting, I'll just cast on another pair of socks and I'll just kind of go back and forth between them. That way they feel fresh and new while I'm working on them. And I mean, I've got multiple finished objects. So it's not like I got second sock syndrome and never finished. But yeah. Anyway, that was a little bit of a rant. But I did these on... What did I knit these on? I knit these on my Knit Pick Mosaic DPNs. I think it was size US 2. It was US 2s. And I cast on 54 stitches, I think. Because my dad's ankles are... I have pretty small ankles, I'm starting to realize. My dad's ankles are kind of small too. And then I like quite a bit of negative ease. So I don't know, other people with my size foot might cast on 60, is it 64? I think it's 56, 64 is like the medium. So 56 I think is the small. Yeah, 56. Yes, I had to do the math real quick. So I cast on 50 stitches for this because my dad has fairly small ankles. Like me, and I needed some negative ease because they're socks and they grow as you wear them and wash them, so they need to be pretty fitted, I have noticed, when I finish them. Otherwise in 2 months they're gonna be falling off of my feet. So yeah, so US 2 DPNs, I cast on 56 stitches. I did a 1x1 rib, as you can tell. The other thing that I do for me and my dad and my husband, Alex, is I decrease at the ankle because our ankles really are pretty small. And our, I don't think we have abnormally small ankles or anything. Maybe it's the way we prefer our socks to fit mixed with smaller than average ankles. I don't know. But I decrease at our ankles. So I decreased down to, I think I had 14 stitches on 2 of the DPNs and 13 on the other 2. I think that's how I did it. I think I just decreased by 2 stitches down to 54. I don't remember exactly. I do it kind of differently every time, so it is a little hard for me to remember. But then I go back up to the regular while I'm doing the heel flap. I did the heel flap and gusset, as you can tell. Behold. Behold its flappiness and its gusset. Yeah, and then I just go back to the regular for all of the this archy part of the foot. And now what I'm doing too when I'm knitting with a heavier weight yarn is I'm decreasing again in the foot when I get about halfway down to the foot. So I decreased down again to 54 stitches. That's getting me a better fit with these heavier yarns. When I'm just doing fingering weight yarn, I'm still figuring that out. But I can't do a straight up 56 all the way because then I have parts that are a little small-ish and then parts that are too big. And so maybe I have a weird shaped foot, I don't know. But yeah, these are the solutions I'm coming up with as I go. So that was a very long explanation. The other explanations of the other things will be shorter because now we've gotten through that. But these are my dad's Patons Kroy sock, Midnight Colors socks. And I already blocked them. So those are going to go in the gift drawer so that I don't lose them. So these socks are, I think, very cool because they're kind of special. Let's see. These were actually knit with hand spun yarn. And if you saw my like New Year's podcast episode, you might remember that one of my like goals for, I say goals because loosely goals, it's a hobby, so I'm not going to put like strict goals for myself. If I don't do everything on my list for 2022, I'm not going to be disappointed in myself because I do this for fun. But one of my goals, one of the things I wanted to do in 2022 was to knit with hand spun. So I found a person who sells handspun on Etsy. And they have gorgeous, gorgeous handspun. Who's the person I got this from? Our Yarny World is the name of the seller on Etsy, and I guess the yarn maker. And this is one of the skeins I got. I got another skein I'll show you guys in acquisitions. I'll show them to you kind of briefly because there is a spinning episode, which may be up already. I can't remember. It's either up already or I'm going to be putting it up the next couple days, but I show you guys this plus fiber that I got in a little unboxing, a live unboxing in that episode. So that is, I don't know, that's fun. So I'll just kind of show you guys briefly. This is not my most graceful hand winding, but it's really beautiful, I think. And it's very squishy. It's not super, super soft, but it's soft enough. The maker, I put the tag in my journal. So the maker, yeah, Our Yarny World, the colorway was Pansy Parade. They said it was a DK weight, and you know, when I was looking at it initially, and I was like, it looks like a sport weight, like a heavy sport. So I knit these up like I would my Patons Kroy socks, like I would a very heavy sport weight. I did them on size 2 DPNs, like US 2 DPNs, but they're a little more dense than I would normally like. They're perfectly fine as wintry house socks, and that is what I will use them for. So I still like them. I might do a second pair though, perhaps, and knit them up as DPN socks. So I might go up, I think, a couple needle sizes. I can't remember. I've never actually knit DK socks, but I looked at Crazy Sock Lady's free pattern on Ravelry, and it either uses a size US 3 or US 4. I can't remember. And you cast on way fewer stitches, obviously. So I might try that with this again and see what happens. I don't know. But this yarn is 80% Targi. It's not Target. I mean, it might be Target, but I don't actually know how to say that. I know that I have heard other people say it, and I do not recall how they pronounced this type of wool. But Targi, 80% Targi, 10% bamboo, 10% silk. Yeah, and I really liked it. So it knit up. Both socks are different. So actually, I'll sock block both of them. I actually was not a huge fan of how this first one was knitting up. And then the contrast heel cuff toe I did was Hobby Lobby's yarn brand, Yarn Bee. It must be merino, and I think it's the linen colorway. So I didn't really like how these knit up here. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of ombre for socks. I don't know why. I don't like it. Like at all. Like I really don't like that look. And I don't really have any explanation why. But I love this. I love that. To me, that looks almost like a speckled ombre, which is really fun because I love speckles. But yeah, like I don't really understand why I don't like this. So I was actually kind of disappointed when I was first knitting these up because I didn't like this part. And I was like, well, we'll just continue and see what happens. Because I was having sock palette fatigue from my Patons Kroy socks. So I just had a rough week with socks. I loved this part. So this part was really fun for me. I really enjoyed it. And then I was looking forward to this pair. And this pair, again, not a huge fan of this. It's not the worst. It's not as bad as this. I don't know what my problem is with that. Apparently I'm taking like very personal issue with it. But yeah, like I liked the second sock more. I'm not a huge fan of that like big dark band in the middle, but the rest of it is kind of like a speckly ombre goodness. So yeah, that was these. For these, I did cast on again the 64 or the 56, goodness, 56 stitches on US2 DPNs. I did decrease down to the 13 per DPN. I think maybe all the way around for the ankle. Went back up to 14 per DPN, the 56 for the heel flap and gusset stuff, and then decreased back down to the 56. I didn't go quite halfway down the foot for these because they do fit pretty, I mean, they're pretty big socks. They're basically DK socks knit as like heavy sports socks. So I decreased back down to the 54. And then I think it may have even gone down to 52 around the toe-ish area before I began the toe decreases. But yeah, these are very, very cozy winter socks. They are very thick. I haven't blocked them, so I'm hoping that they will puff up a little bit with blocking and get a little fluffier and softer, because typically, in my experience, my socks always have. So yeah, that's these guys. I'm happy with those. Those will be very good for particularly cold days. All right, my third pair of socks that I finished is a very fun skein of yarn. Where did I actually put it? I don't think I brought it with me. Oh, I have a skein in DK, so I'll show you that. This yarn is by Threads Hand-Dyed Yarn. This is a seller on Etsy. Threads Hand-Dyed Yarn by MeganNicole. And this is the Monet colorway, and this is the sport. I actually do have this in DK. It's a DK singles. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh, I did post on Instagram that I'd cast these on, and I do have a picture of the skein of the sport weight on Instagram. So if you are curious what that looks like, you can check out my Instagram and see that skein before I wound it up and started knitting with it. But look how beautiful and happy that this is. I had to have it. I think I was looking for Monet yarn at some point on Etsy. It was last summer, and I found this and fell in love with it. And then at the end of the summer, I was like, I just have to get it. And I didn't want to knit with it until like I felt like I actually knew what I was doing with sock knitting. I knit some socks finally, and these were happy socks. I had a huge sigh of relief when I was knitting these socks, because I was like, oh, I do like sock knitting. I think the yarn for me makes a huge difference, because these were a joy. These I finished in like 3 days, which is pretty quick for me during like the work week. But these just went fast. They're sport weights, so that helps. I knit them on the size US 1.5 DPNs. I think I again used my Knit Pick mosaic needles, and these are gorgeous. These are gorgeous. Look at all those happy, happy colors. It's been really hard not to wear these. I finished them a few days ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I have not worn them because I needed to show them to you clean and unworn on the podcast. Oh my gosh. I just love these so much. This is a colorway you can get. You can order it. I think it's one she has all of the time in her shop, and so she just dies to order. I think when I ordered mine, it took several weeks. I think I maybe waited almost a month before I got my yarn, but that's fine. I wasn't in a hurry. Yeah, just how beautiful and happy is that? I I'm in love with these socks. These make me really happy. And I got 100-gram skein, so I have a lot left over, and I think I'm gonna do another pair of socks. I would love to do like an indigo kind of yarn, like some sort of purpley blue yarn for the contrast color. I just don't have one anywhere, so I'm gonna have my eye out for that. But the pink that I used, this is fingering weight, so it's I'm not super into how the cuff looks, because I feel like the cuff looks a little stretched, a little small, with the 1x1 and the fingering weight with the sport weight, but that's okay. And it'll puff up when I wash it, because these, again, have not been blocked. So this will all puff up. But the pink is Nanette Wake Studio, just from a mini set that I got, so I don't know the colorway. But she has that kind of stuff all the time. So she has tonal yarns in her shop very often. So I think right now she's got some pinks in there. Yeah, so these are my Monet socks, and they make me very happy. Again, I cast on the 56 stitches with my 1.5 needles, and for these I don't think I decreased at the ankle for these, because the sport weight, I don't think I decreased at the ankle. I don't remember. I don't remember. I think for these I just did 56 all the way, because I find that with US 1.5s with sport weight yarn, like actual sport weight yarn, not like Patons Kroy sport weight, which is almost a DK. At least to me, it feels almost like a DK, but like actual sport weight yarn, that fits really well. The size, the 56 stitches, sport weight, 1.5 needles, like that fits my foot really well. I feel like I repeated myself a lot there, but anyway, these are the socks. So hooray, behold them once more before they go away. I am super in love with these. So good. So good. They make me very happy. So last finished object, at least for the knitting part, I knit myself some mittens, which is good because I think I'm going to use these today when I go hiking. These are, actually I had two skeins, so I'll just show you the other skein. If you've been around for a while, you've seen this skein. This is Nanette Wake Studio. She is also on Etsy. I talk about her all the time. This is the fingering weight, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon in Ice Castle. So yeah, just this beautiful kind of like speckled, very light pink with white. Beautiful yarn. And that is going to become something to go with these. I knit myself my first pair of mittens. I knit a pair of mittens for my niece. She's 3. I knit a pair of mittens for her for Christmas, but I don't have any. I don't own any mittens. So these are my mittens. They're so fun. I held the yarn double, so I just wound the ball up into 2 50-gram cakes. Balls, 2 50-gram balls, because I don't, I actually do have a ball winder. I need to start using it. Yeah, and I just held it double and I made myself mittens. I'm very excited. I didn't really want to do any interesting patterns because I really love this yarn just the way that it is, and I'm glad I didn't do a pattern really, because the speckles really speckled would held double. It speckled more than I was anticipating. So I like that these are not super exciting, and that they're just kind of plain. I think I'm considering getting some white yarn, and doing some embroidery on the back of the hands. Maybe like not really like a floral, but like a leafy, something leafy, some sort of white foliage embroidery on the backs of these, I think, or maybe like a feather pattern. I was thinking of like a feathery, leafy kind of something or other, because they are pretty plain, but I'm glad I didn't add like textured pattern. I guess I could have done color work, but I kind of just wanted some quick, easy mittens because I've never done mittens before, so I just wanted to do some quick, easy ones first. And I am glad that I did. But I'm considering doing that, going back and embroidering. But this is what they looked like knit up. These mittens fit great. Yeah, this is the unblocked one. So I've been doing this thing lately where I will finish one of a pair of something and block one of them while I'm knitting the other one. And I am doing that mostly just so that it's fun for me to know what I'm getting into while I'm working on the second one, because I get to see the other one all blocked out and fluffed up. So it just gives me something more to look forward to. Fun for me. I did each mitten slightly differently because this mitten, I don't know, it just feels big. It just feels really big. I don't know, is this how mittens are supposed to fit? I've never had mittens since I was a child, so I don't really know how mittens are supposed to fit, but it just feels like I have so much extra room up here that I don't need. And so when I did this one, I decreased about halfway up the fingers, and then I decreased again, just by like 3 or 4 stitches. So I didn't decrease tons, but I wanted it to taper just a little bit more to make my fingers feel a little bit more snug. So I still have plenty of room. Like there's still plenty of extra like room in there, but it doesn't feel like I've just got all this like extra random fabric. So I deviated from the pattern a bit in that way, by decreasing as I went up instead of just decreasing at the top for the shaping. So that was really the only modification. Well, I say that was the only modification I really made. A little bit, I mixed and matched a little bit. Well, I guess I modified a bit. This was a pattern for worsted weight yarn, and I basically did DK because I held fingering weight double. And then it called for US 4 DPNs, and I used US 3 DPNs. So I guess these are smaller than they would have been if I had used worsted weight and size 4 DPNs. Potentially these are a little smaller. They still fit perfectly fine. And I knew they would because when I did I used the same pattern for my niece's mittens. And so, and I did hers the same way. I did DK yarn on US 3s. So I knew that they would knit up. I knew they wouldn't knit up small. Hers are too big for her. But I did make hers slightly big so she could grow into them. She's 3, and I knit mittens sized for a small child, which is probably older than a toddler. So she'll grow into hers. But I already knew because since I knit the small child, which is the smallest one size in this pattern, I held her mittens up to my hand. Her mittens were only a little smaller than my hand. So I figured the large child would be too small for me, but the small adult should be fine. So I did the small adult pattern, but it was not going to be long enough. So I did the large adult lengths. So I have a circumference for the small adult size and the length for the large adult size, for my thumb and my fingers to kind of accommodate that. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense. Because I have small palms, but longer fingers. I don't have like crazy long fingers. I mean, you can tell, like I don't have super, super long fingers. But my palms are a lot smaller than my husband's, but my fingers are longer than my husband's. So I guess when I'm knitting myself mittens and gloves, that's something I will take into account, is I will knit the smaller circumference, but the longer version for things. So if you have a similar hand type shape, then might be something that would work well for you too. But that worked well for me. And the pattern I used for this is from a book I have. I think this book is still available on Amazon. It's the One Skein Wonders book by Judith Durant. Durant? I don't know. Sorry if I am mispronouncing people's names. Yeah, this is a great book. As you can probably imagine, everything in here, it takes one skein, and she has them organized by yarn weight. I used her cable, I think it's like elegant cable mittens for the whole family. Elegant and easy cable mittens for the whole family. I just omitted the cable because I didn't want to do a cable. Yeah, it's really cute with the cable though. Yeah, very cute with the cable. So, yep, that was that. I just mixed and matched a little bit. This is a great book. I really like this book. So if you're looking for a really good resource for one skein projects, this one's really fun, I think. Yes, so my first pair of mittens for myself. My mittens for my niece were my first pair ever. And then these are mine, and I'm gonna wear those hiking today. Oh goodness, so that felt like it took longer than necessary. They're lovely and soft too. I love how soft they are, but they're sturdy. I have this basket that lives upstairs in the living room because that is where my new spinning wheel lives. So if you have seen those videos or if you've watched those videos, I do have a new spinning series on the channel where I share my spinning adventures with spinning yarn as a new yarn spinner. I just started at New Year's time-ish, maybe a little after New Year's. It was after the new year. It was after the new year because I had to wait for, anyway, that information's in those videos. Anyway, I've only been spinning for 3 weeks. This is why I don't have more yarn or knit finished objects, because I was spinning and I have many skeins of yarn now that I've spun. I injured my thumbs. In the last video, I was doing the hand massage because my thumbs were really hurting. And the hand massage helped. It certainly didn't hurt anything. But as I continued sock knitting, I couldn't anymore. My thumbs were shot. So I actually did no knitting for about a week. I think it was like 6 days, which the only reason I didn't go nuts is because I started spinning at that time. So I just traded one yarn hobby for another. Yes, so, but I couldn't knit anything. My hands hurt so much. Alex had to open all of the jars and things in the house because I would re-injure myself trying to open jars, and it would just send shooting pain. It wasn't fun, but my knitting hiatus helped, and I've been knitting fine for the last 2 weeks. I just have to notice, like, when I'm getting fatigue in my thumbs, I have to stop. And I'm not really doing a whole lot of fingering weight right now and I think moving forward, I'm gonna do less fingering weight socks because I'm trying to ease up on my tension. I'm trying not to like press so much, but habits are hard to break. So the sport socks went fine. The DK / vaguely DK-ish socks went fine. All those things went fine. So I'm trying to do more the heavier weight yarns, at least for the time being. Spinning didn't hurt at all. So I did some spinning. I'll just show you guys very briefly because you might not really care tons. If you want to see more of this in detail, you can check out my spinning videos. So these were my first 3 skeins of yarn. These are in like just a generic wool that came from the woolery with my spinning wheel. Some of them are better than others. None of them are great, but that's okay because they're my first skeins and I really like them. These are fun. And I have a project idea for all of my neutral yarn that I'm hand spinning. So these are really fun, I think. The second skein that I spun was this rainbow skein, which is a whole video on this that you can check out if you're interested. But this is my rainbow skein of yarn. The little ends are just where it's tied together to keep the skein together. So those will come off when you wind it into a ball. But yeah, that's my rainbow skein. Very, very much like an art yarn. It's very thick and thin. This was super, super cheap fiber. So super cheap fiber. And then I have I got some Rollags to spin. Oh, first, this yarn, and this is from Nanette Wake's studio. She also dyes fiber, so I got some of her fiber. This is Leave No Stone. I think that's the colorway. I think it's Leave No Stone. Yeah, fun, kind of olive green, bright blue, periwinkle, a little bit of like a violety purple, and then this bright neon, almost neon pink. This is really fun to spin, and it's very soft. It's merino. I think it's 100% merino, superwash merino. Yeah, super fun. And I think this is going to become a scarf. So I am excited about that. And then I spun up a bunch of Rollags. So some of these are better than others. When I was first doing the Rollags, it was not good. It was not good at all. But it got better. This was my best one. This one's pretty consistent, really. This one is about a DK. I can't remember. I've got all of my exact like specifications written in my making journal. But yeah, I've got these two guys. They're not great, but they're okay. They were fun. Again, these little end bits, like that's just where things are tied together to keep it in a skein. So, and then I did some orange and yellow as well. So yeah, these are my spinning finished objects as well. And if you wanted more information about that, you can watch the spinning videos. But I know a lot of people who knit don't care about spinning at all, so I'm not going to take up a bunch of time today with that. I just wanted to show it to you guys quickly so you know what I've been up to. So yeah, I guess I have I had quite a few finished objects to share with you guys this week, since it has been 3 weeks, but only about half of them were knitted finished objects. So, works in progress. I do have a few works in progress going on. My Florida Shawl I don't have with me because I've added a few inches to it, but not enough that I felt like it was really exciting to show you guys. So I'll probably show you guys in the next episode the progress that I am making with my Florida Shawl. I also think that I'm going to be setting aside intentional time to work on that, because it does tend to get put to the side since it's a long-term project. And I tend to focus on my more like instant gratification type projects instead. So I think that I'm gonna try to come up with some sort of system. Maybe I'll spend 30 minutes a day working on it. Maybe I'll work on it on Sundays. I don't know. But I'm gonna come up with some sort of system because I wanna make good progress on it, because I really enjoy it when I do pick it up and knit it. I just don't really think about it as much because it's kind of, you know, off to the side and I have my other projects just immediately there. So that doesn't have anything in it. So this guy, this is my make along project. So I'll start with this guy. Yeah, and if you, well, I'll talk about the make along more after I'm done with this stuff, because for those of you who don't care, I don't want to take up the time. But I am crocheting a baby blanket. So this is what it looks like so far. I think that I'm going to add some sort of border. I think maybe like a scalloped edge would be sort of fun, either in white or blue, because then to me it would kind of look like a rainbow amongst the clouds, because I think the little scalloped edge would look like clouds. So yeah, that's kind of my thought. But this is super addicting. Crocheting blankets, I can see why everybody's on board with this. This is super, super addictive. It's so fast. It is so fast. I can knit an entire skein of DK weight yarn in like an hour-ish. Maybe 2 hours. Actually, I haven't timed it. But not very long. Not very long at all. This is 2 evenings of work. So much fun. I think I might cast on or chain for another one when I'm done with this one, because this is so much fun. The yarn I'm using for this, I have shown in a previous episode. I don't think they make this anymore. They might, but I don't think they do, because this is from like the 70s or the 80s. This is Caron Dazzlere. Do they still make Caron Dazzlere? Oh boy, new 2nd edition Dazzlere pattern book offer. Send $150 postage and handling. You had to mail in to get the pattern. I don't think they make this anymore. This is for my mom. She got this in like the 80s and never used it. So yeah, this is the, it's 80% acrylic, 20% nylon, worsted weight yarn. Oh, so it's worsted weight, not DK. Baby Rainbow Ombre. That's the colorway. Yeah, you can look at the tag. It's a little on the older side as far as the yarn stash goes. That's fun. It's almost like knitting with vintage yarn, almost. Whew. That makes me feel really old. If something from the 80s is considered vintage, wow. Wow. I'll have my existential crisis later. Okay, but yeah, so I'm knitting with this. It's soft and it's nice. Again, my texture thing, even though this is soft, it's not wool soft, it's acrylic soft, which to me feels very different. And it's hard to describe. Like I almost get like a little bit of like I have like a visceral reaction. It's so strange. It's hard to describe. Yeah, like I can feel the plastic fibers against my fingers, and it just like it makes my whole body feel. It's not to the point of feeling like sick. That would be that's dramatic. It's too extreme to accurately describe, but it's kind of it's close almost. Yeah, it's just, I have like a full body, like aversion to acrylic yarn, and I don't know what it is. I think it's textural, because I have nothing. If you like to knit with acrylic yarn, I'm so happy for you. Please continue to knit with acrylic yarn. My body hates it. I don't know why. But I enjoy crocheting that blanket so much that I'm willing to do it with that acrylic yarn. So, and there's nothing wrong with the yarn at all. It's soft. I mean, it's a baby acrylic yarn. It's soft yarn. It's squishy. It's nice. But it feels like acrylic to me. Like acrylic yarn feels like plastic. It feels like little tiny plastic. Like my whole body is tensing up just thinking about it. Is that dramatic? I don't know. It's not a choice. It's something I've noticed over the years. Like I can feel the fibers like it's almost like they squeak when they like move against each other. I don't know. It's a texture thing. I might have a sensory thing going on that I just didn't realize until very recently. I don't know. Anyway, tangent over. That's really fun. I'm probably going to cast on another one. I will link the tutorial below that I used for knitting, for crocheting that blanket. It's very fast, it's very satisfying, and I kind of want to cast on one for myself. That kind of jumps into a little bit of like needle adjacent, but I'm not starting it immediately. But a plan that I have for my scraps, I do want to do some scrappy socks. I think that'll be what my like brighter, bolder colors for my sock yarn are going to be used for, are scrappy socks. And then I think my more pastel, neutral, and just like lighter colors are going to be made into basically a granny stripe blanket. I thought about doing a knit blanket. I'm just having so much fun crocheting this blanket. I want to do a crochet granny stripe blanket with my sock yarn because it's just so much fun and it's so satisfying. And I get really cold, and so I think that a fingering weight blanket, the only way that's going to work for me probably would be crochet, because it'll make it thicker because of the nature of crochet versus knitting. Knitting gives a thinner, flowier fabric. So yeah, it's super fun. Sorry about my tangent about the texture with the acrylic. Oh boy. I promise that I don't hate acrylic. I just personally am discovering that it makes my hands sweat too. Like I noticed this, I was knitting like a bulky acrylic cowl this, I mean, maybe it was because it was summer too, but my hands were sweating. I had to take breaks because my hands got so hot and sweaty because I felt like they were just trapped in like a plastic bag. This sounds dramatic. Okay, I'm dropping it. I'm curious though if anybody else has this happen to them. Does anyone else have this thing with certain textures? It doesn't have to be acrylic, but are there certain yarns that you cannot knit with because the texture is just so aversive to your entire nervous system that you can't? I'm very curious. Is it just me? Am I just dramatic? And I didn't mention, both of these are in project bags by Anomalous Mind. I think I have her card in this one. This is her large size, and then this is her small size, as you can tell, obviously. Anomalous Mind, this is another Etsy seller. Very kindly priced. So if you really want some handmade project bags, but are watching your budget, these are excellent for that. Look how cute. These are my winter project bags. They are winter sheep doing winter sheep activities, including knitting. There's the knitting one. Including knitting. I had to get both sizes because it's just the most perfect, most adorable fabric ever. So if you saw my Hobby Lobby yarn haul video, then you have seen both of these skeins of yarn. They're very pretty in a skein. I always think yarn's prettier in a skein than in a ball. I don't know, do other people have that? But I think they're prettier in their skeins. But this is, I saved the tags so that I could tell you. I was prepared. I'm not always this prepared. This is the authentic Yarn Bee Authentic Hand-Dyed Tonal Spa. This is 420 yards in 100 grams. Very pretty kind of tonal blue, as you can see. Very aptly named with the spa. I think that's a good name for this. And then this is also Yarn Bee Authentic Hand-Dyed Tiger Eye, 400 yards in 100 grams. So just a little bit heavier fingering. I don't know if it like shows up on camera, but it does have these little like almost neon orange speckles. Yeah, fun. And I'm knitting socks. These are fingering weight. I'm just going kind of slow and easy with them, and I'm trying to watch my thumbs so that I'm not like pressing on my needles tons. These are also serving as a bit of an experiment to try to get a better fit. I'll talk about it more. I'm not going to show it up close because I'll do that when they're finished objects. Right now they are only partially finished. These will be finished by the end of the week. But yeah, I did the cuffs, heels, and toes in the spa, and then the rest is the tiger's eye. This is perfectly fine yarn to work with. I am enjoying it, and it's making a soft sock. They're 100% wool, superwash merino. They're 100% superwash merino. There's no nylon, so we'll see how they wear. I think it'll be fine because I just wear my hand knits as house socks most of the time, so they're fine. And I don't really wear my socks super hard either. I have some socks that I've had for 20 years, literally 20 years. And they don't have any holes or anything. So I don't wear my socks hard. Yeah, the socks that I know that are gonna be worn hard, I buy for like trail running and stuff, and I buy athletic socks. So I don't wear my hand knits hard. So I anticipate these will be fine. Yeah, I'll talk more about this, I think, when they're finished objects. I can tell the quality of yarn is different. I mean, and this is cheaper yarn. The quality is very different. But it's pleasant. It's nice to work with. I like it. I have no regrets. I think those will be great socks, and I will buy more of the Yarn Bee yarn in the future, I think. And I'm really happy I've got more. I did a whole, again, I have a yarn haul video where I got a lot of it the other day, because they have some really beautiful hand-painted yarns at Hobby Lobby now. But yeah, I can tell the difference between that yarn and yarn I'd get at a yarn, like an actual yarn store, that's like a dedicated yarn store, like a small locally owned kind of place, or something from Etsy, or another indie dyer. Like, I can tell the difference definitely between those yarns and then the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee yarn. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't really bother me. It just it honestly makes like a fun change, because I can tell that it's much less plump. It's much, it's not a round yarn. It's again, I'll talk more about it when it's a finished object, but yes. So those are the works in progress I've got going on. I've got my blanket, I've got my socks, and I've got my Florida Shawl that I'm working on. So that's 3. But I have needle adjacent projects. This is my needle adjacent project I'm about to cast on, because I only have 2 works in progress that are active works in progress. So this will be the 3rd. I'm so excited. Oh, actually I'm casting on 2. I'm gonna have 4 going at the same time, but I like having 2 pairs of socks. So let me do the socks first. I like having 2 pairs of socks on the needles. I've been doing that the last couple weeks, and it's nice to be able to kind of flip back and forth between those 2 pairs. It keeps the yarn fresh. It keeps me from getting yarn fatigue, palette fatigue. So I'm really into the purples lately, as you can tell. This is gonna be my next pair of socks. I am very happy. This is craftily dyed yarn, classic sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 231 yards and 50 grams. And this is the Midnight Bloom colorway. I do think this is a repeat that she does, so I do think you can still get this. Yeah, so craftily dyed yarns on Etsy. I don't think it focused. Yeah, really beautiful. And she has a lot of this kind of ombre kind of a thing. She has one that I think it's called Firefly, perhaps, and it's oranges and yellows and like a pink or pinkish red kind of. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I think like Phoenix is another one. She's got some really, really beautiful fades like this. And I'm pairing it with another mini from Nanette Studio. This like beautiful lavender lilac. I don't know if it's showing up on screen super well. I'm filming in the morning, which is a different time than I normally film, and I thought the light would be better. I can't tell. What do you guys think? Is it better? Yeah, but I like these two together. I think this will make beautiful socks. And I think it'll be really nice switching back and forth between this one and my Hobby Lobby yarn, because this is really soft and squishy and lovely, and I think it'll be a nice texture switch back and forth. So I'm very excited to cast those on in the next, like maybe day or two. I'm not going to cast those on immediately, I think, because I'm enjoying my Hobby Lobby socks at the moment. So as soon as I start to get a little with them, I'll cast those on so that I can flip back and forth. This next project, I'm so excited. I've never done a shawl pattern. My Florida Shawl is the first shawl pattern I've ever done. It's very simple in a lovely way. I really love these like triangular lacy shawls that people knit. So I'm gonna knit one. I'm very happy about this. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is the, oh, and the pattern name is not on here. But it's from Manos del Uruguay, and it is the Plumas. It's either Pluma or Plumas feather shawl. I think it's a Plumas. I'm imagining it's Plumas shawl because it's like multiple feathers. I mean, you can tell, like, they look like feathers. Isn't that pretty? So it's a lot of garter, and then it has this pretty feather like edge. That's a free pattern, but I'll still seeing if anyone was coming up my driveway that shouldn't be. Yeah. So I think that'll be really pretty. I don't have a better picture to show you guys because I didn't print off the first page because the first page was just the picture and I didn't want to do that because it felt like a waste of paper and ink. But I did want to print it off because I wanted to keep it with the project and make notes if I wanted to, because this is the first time I'm doing a, I mean, this probably isn't a very, it's people say it's a pretty easy pattern. It's good for people that are like, I don't know, like a first time kind of shawl like this. But I'm still a little nervous and I want to be able to make notes, and I like having it like with me instead of just having the PDF on my phone. But yes, I'm going to cast this on hopefully tonight. I hope I have time to do it tonight. This is a super pretty shawl, I think. I'm very excited. And the yarn I'm using for it, it is a fingering weight shawl. Look at this gorgeousness. If you have watched, you know, a lot of the previous episodes, you've already seen this yarn. And I fell in love with it when I got my 50-gram skein, and I immediately got on her website and got her 100-gram skein as well. Because I was going to originally do socks with this, and I was like, no, I want more of you, and I want you to be something else. So I got her 100-gram as well, and I saved both to do a shawl with. This is Nanette Studio. Once more, I love her yarn. Talk about her all the time. This is her Flax Flower, and she doesn't have this colorway anymore. She does pretty small batches. Things like tonal yarns, she'll do. She doesn't have exactly the same one all of the time, but she, she's, usually got like a tonal pink and a tonal green and a tonal, and if she doesn't, then in a month or two she's probably gonna have another one. So the tonal kind of colorways, you just have to check regularly to see if she's got one, but she typically does. She has lots of these gorgeous variegated kind of colorways. She's doing a lot more speckles right now too, which I'm really into. So yeah, this is the Flax Flower Nanette Wake Studio. It is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And it is gorgeous. It reminds me of a Monet painting. You know, it also reminds me a little bit of one of Van Gogh's iris paintings as well. And I just think it's beautiful. I think it's like a work of art, and I'm excited to use it for my first lace shawl. So excited. Yeah, and I will have extra because I have more yardage than the pattern calls for, so I will have extra. So I will probably turn whatever is extra into a pair of gorgeous socks. I'm excited. I couldn't wait to share that with you guys because I'm really happy. I'm very excited to do this. I think it's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to wear it all the time. And I'm really into purple right now. I don't know what it is. Is it a winter thing? I don't know. I'm so happy though. Okay, so that's that. So that's it for needle adjacent items. So next we'll do acquisitions real quick, and then a tiny bit of chat, and then I really have to get ready to go hiking with my friend. So first, I guess I'll show you the hand spun from our Yarny world. This is called Midnight Stroll Through Tromsø? I think it's the name of some sort of city or town, I think. I can't super read the handwriting. And also, I can't even guess what this is. So yeah, but our Yarny world, and it's 100% merino, and it's fingering weight, and it's beautiful. I originally was thinking about making socks, but it might need to be a shawl because it's just so beautiful. It's really gorgeous. And it's so squishy. Again, not super soft, but fine. And it'll probably get softer when I wash it too. Yeah, just like gorgeous. Like, look at all the different colors. I don't know if you can super see all the different colors. It's just beautiful. I love it. So that's very exciting. I'm trying to do this part quickly. I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it was just kind of fun. I was at the shop Tuesday morning, which is like a housewares, home goods kind of shop where you get like discounted home goods. They've got them all over the US, and they had some yarn. So these were on clearance for $5.50. So I grabbed them because I think they're beautiful colors. They are 100% superwash merino. Or no, are they just 100% wool? I thought they were 100% superwash merino. Lana. Yeah, 100%. Oh, they are. Yeah, okay. It just says different things on different parts of the head. It says superwash, pure superwash merino wool. So yeah, it's DK. It is the Ella Ray. Ella Ray is the maker. I don't know, but it's just this beautiful Riverwood Heather is the colorway. And Ella Ray is the brand, and I got it for $5.50. Yeah, estimated they're normally $15. I got it for $5.50. So I thought that was pretty good. And I love that color. So that's going to go into my pile of sweater yarn, because I think that this would be great for me for a sweater. This is a beautiful color that I would wear a lot. I think this is sweater yarn. A couple other things to show you guys. I do have some more yarn, but real quick, some Notion things. These were some Christmas presents I want to show you so I can start using them. I just got a pack of measuring tapes so that I can put them in different project bags so I don't have to worry about running out of measuring tapes. These are from Amazon. Tape measure made in China. I have no more information for you, but I got these for Christmas. And I'm looking forward to using those because I need to put some into my project bags. These I got from a yarn shop that is no longer in business. Well, my mom got them for me and then she gave them to me for Christmas, but I went with her to the yarn shop. These are itty bitty golden kitties, a baker's dozen, tiny rings of stitch marker cuteness. Yeah, very cute. So these are little cat stitch markers. You can get these in various places. They're on Etsy, maybe not this particular brand, but I have seen these all over. I've seen them in several yarn shops. I've seen them on Etsy, and they're just little golden cat stitch markers. I don't know if you can tell super well. They're so small. But they've got little cat ears. They're really cute. So these are great. I used them. I've already gotten into them and I used them with my mittens, and these are very sweet. So those are fun. And then last yarn acquisition. This is from a maker that I had been wanting to get from for a while, and now I am mildly obsessed with. This is A Chick That Knits. This is a little postcard that came with her package. Yeah. I really love her. I love her stuff. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. I've already gotten it out, so I'll just go ahead and show you. This is Misty Meadows Deluxe Sock, 85% superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon, 393 yards in 100 grams. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh my goodness. Misty Meadows. So excited. She had a sale the other day, so I got some yarn. Gorgeous. And it's so soft and squishy. I love this colorway too. These were all in her sale. Yeah, these were all in her sale section. This is walnut, 80-20, 400 yards and 100 grams. So walnut, how beautiful is that color? Oh my goodness. I love that. I love this. Ugh. It's like just very mildly tonal, semi-solid. I think those together, oh my gosh. So this is probably going to be cuffs and maybe heels and toes, maybe cuffs and toes. And oh my gosh, how beautiful. So, and then this is actually a colorway that I have been looking at for like a year. It's her Primrose colorway, and I just got 2 of the minis, and again it's an 80-20 superwash merino nylon, 80 yards and 20 grams, and I just think that's so sweet. I don't know if that's showing up super well on camera, but it is like a mix of like blush, like really pale blush pink and white, and then it's got the speckles. Gorgeous. So I'm a huge fan of A Chick That Knits. I will definitely be getting more of her yarn. Gorgeous, totally gorgeous, and so squishy and soft. That's all. That's all I have. So just, quick update on the make-along. We've got the Hygge make-along going on until March 20th. So I've got a couple information videos about that. If you want to check it out, there is a thread on Ravelry for it as well. Feel free to join us. You're just knitting cozy things until the first day of spring. We do have prizes available. There are prizes for participating in the chatter and for finished objects. So every time you submit a finished object, you get an entry for the prize package for the finished object thread. And if you're not on Ravelry, you can just email me your finished object. Yes. So, and then commenting on the the make-along videos for that also count for chatter, because I know not everybody's on Ravelry, so I don't want it to just be like, you can't participate if you're not on Ravelry. You can participate if you're just on YouTube, but you need to chat on YouTube or email me your finished object. So yes, and we do have a couple people have contacted me for donating prizes, which is insanely exciting and so generous, and I'm so grateful to them. Oh my goodness, I'm very excited about that. I'll share more information with you guys about donated prizes when I have more information. I'm just waiting to hear back for some details on that. But one person has messaged me saying they'd like to donate a pattern. So any one of their patterns up to $10. And then another person contacted me about donating yarn, potentially hand spun yarn. So that's really, really, really cool. So yeah, just immensely grateful for those offers. And I'll let you guys know more information about that as I get more information about that, so that you guys know what kind of prizes are up for you. So yes, I think that is pretty much all I've got for today. There's probably more I've forgotten, but it's an hour and 15 minutes, so I think this is plenty. I will not wait 3 weeks to do another podcast episode. It was mostly, it was 3 weeks partially because of the hands hurting so much, and I felt like I didn't want to show up without like knitted finished objects. And then after that, it was a mix of time, like time was a little bit of a concern, and honestly storage space was a little bit of a concern. I didn't have storage space to film a hour-long episode because I had so many small videos saved up that I hadn't uploaded. So I'm trying to get all of those uploaded and like cleared out. So probably will be a couple of weeks of like a lot of small videos popping up, which you might like. You might like the shorter videos. But yes, I'm trying to get those off so that I've got storage space freed up. And I think I should be able to podcast every week, although it might be every 2 weeks every once in a while, because life is a little busy at the moment. And also doing the make-along stuff and doing the podcast episodes. I'm trying to find a good balance with that. Because I do work full-time and I'm in grad school, so I stay pretty busy. But yes, I think that's it for today. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. This was a lot. I had a couple of rants that I was not anticipating. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I really would like to know, are there textures and yarns that you just cannot knit with? Or is it just me? Am I just dramatic? But yes, I am gonna go hiking with my new mittens. I hope that you guys are having a lovely week. It's Sunday right now, so today is my day of rest. Very much looking forward to that. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day, good week, and thank you for hanging out with me. Join us on Ravelry on Instagram. I'd love to meet you, chat, become friends in yarn. I will see you guys soon. I'm actually going to end the podcast now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.